Now, Cory Booker, he's probably going to run for president. I mean, that's pretty likely right now. We don't know; it's still far away, but all the signs are there. Especially all the fluff articles that are going on in corporate media. They love Cory Booker. And look, he's got the look. He's young. He's a minority. He's also super establishment, meaning that the banks absolutely adore him, and the corporations, they can't get enough of Cory Booker. So he is your establishment rising star, pretty much. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he's probably the front runner right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think about it a whole lot, but he's doing all the right work as far as getting to that point. He's posing for the right photo ops. He's wearing the pink scarves at the appropriate time, while simultaneously voting down a bill that could give a lot of people cheaper prescription drugs. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, again, those are all the reasons that we say that he's the front runner so far for 2020. Again, it's really too far out, I think, in my personal opinion. But I think the establishment is actively looking at him and a couple of other people to run in 2020 on the Democratic ticket. Now, Cory Booker, interestingly enough, a new story is out that might actually knock him out of the sky before campaign season even starts. Now, the International Business Times recently ran a piece from TYT contributor David Sirota that found that Cory Booker just happened to receive campaign donations from a member of Donald Trump's inner circle. This would be Jared Kushner, who also seems to be a person of interest in the Russian investigation. Sirota writes, the Democratic National Committee has called for Kushner's security clearance to be revoked after reports that he sought to set up back-channel communications with Russian officials. Similarly, Representative Adam Schiff, the senior Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, said Kushner's security credentials should be reviewed. So that's what the Democrats are doing. Now, where's Cory Booker on this issue? Booker actually refused to support those calls during an interview with CNN on Sunday. Asked if reporters revoking Kushner's security clearance, the New Jersey senator asked, I think we need to first get to the bottom of it. He needs to answer for what was happening at the time. It raises very serious concerns for me, and that could be a potential outcome that I seek, but I want to understand, at least hear from Jared Kushner, as well as the administration about what was exactly going on. So, okay, now, I mean, he's not going out there and saying, hey, Kushner, security clearance, gone. We don't like what you're doing. We don't like the appearance of what you're doing. Let's listen. Let's hear him out, man. Come on. Now, Booker also pushed back against those calling for the impeachment of Trump, saying, I'm not going to rush for impeachment. Now, look, whether or not you think Trump should be impeached or not, whether or not you think the Russian investigation has any legs, okay, that's not really at issue here. What's at issue is the Kushner-Booker connection. Turns out that Kushner and other donors affiliated with Kushner Company delivered more than $41,000 to Booker's Senate campaign in 2013, according to data compiled by PoliticalMoneyline.com. Politica reported that Ivanka Trump hosted a fundraiser for Booker also during that election. So you've got the ties here. In 2009, Jared Kushner also gave $20,000 to Booker's Newark mayoral ticket. Booker Team for Newark. New Jersey campaign finance records show that year that Booker also attended the wedding of Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. So basically, to me, reading this, again, whether or not you agree the impeachment or Russia, that's not really the issue here. This shows that Booker, the guy knows where his bread is buttered. He's taken all this money from Jared Kushner, and he's like, hey, man, we need to lay off Kushner here. Okay, just hear him out. Just give him a chance to explain. I'm sure he'll come up with a good explanation. Maybe $41,000 worth of a good explanation. Do you really think, Ron, and people watching, that he would do that for somebody who didn't give him money?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he would do it for somebody else who didn't give him money. It sort of reinforces the notion that he's open for business.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be interesting because if they do find a connection, I mean, this has been the Democratic establishment. This has been their biggest talking point is the whole Russia issue, where they've been very steadfast, and they, a lot of them sound like right wingers, even the way they're talking. Like, are you going to be a patriot? This isn't a right and left issue. This is an American issue, and collusion. And, like many on the left that are of the more skeptical camp, I'm not against an investigation. I say, yeah, like, get to the bottom of it. And if there is some foul play, we need to deal with it. However, what I'm against is stuff that the Donna Brazils and Cory Booker himself, actually, oddly enough, have been saying, where they're calling this an act of war, and they're pretty much beating the drums for war. And of course, I'm against the way the media has been harping on this issue more than they should be harping on other issues. I mean, the way Trump screwed over North Carolina after the hurricane has gotten virtually no press attention. A lot of his policies that are out there have gotten no press attention, and it's because they spend literally over half of their time talking about Russia. And that's the problem that many of us on the left have with the whole thing.
Sure.
So that being said, for those in the establishment camp where this has been their issue of the day and they have decided to ignore everything else for whatever the reason may be, if you find this connection with Cory Booker, well, then is he still your darling? If he is, then that's very hypocritical.
Very telling, too.
And then, of course, the odd thing of all this is I find myself in agreement with Cory Booker when it comes to the impeachment issue. I don't think they should impeach Trump. Why? Because Mike Pence is a lot worse. A, Mike Pence is a competent psychopath. B, and C, it's setting it up so that the Democrats would lose again in 2018. The Democrats are a very weak organization that is brilliant at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. If Donald Trump continues his pandemonium circus and his support continues to plummet and he's just causing destruction within his own party, well, then the Democrats will probably see a nice showing in 2018, which I do want to see that happen in the midterm, because in the short term, there's some disastrous stuff going on that needs to, at least be halted. In the long term, I think the two-party system's over. But you got to have an approach to both, short and long term, which is why, I favor an above-all approach, like we've talked about this in this show. Primarying out the corporate Democrats is a good thing, but it's also a good thing to think long-term and to think, of a potential future beyond the two-party system.
Getting back to, Cory Booker, again, as this, Jared Kushner, Cory Booker relationship, the guy knows where he gets his money, where his bread is buttered, and he's going to go to his donors. And that, for him running for president, we know that, well, he's going to do what his donors tell him. He's going to follow his donors. In fact, who does, donate to Cory Booker the most? Lawyers, securities and investment firms, and real estate. So we already know the different industries that are going to own a future possible president, Cory Booker. I mean,
and the pharmaceutical. He gets a nice buck or two from them, too.
Yeah, his eighth largest donor is the pharmaceutical industry, giving him nearly, $700,000, something like that. So, and then you had $2 million.
And he's among the tops in Democrats, too.
Yeah. So he's got about $2.3 million from the securities investment and real estate firms, as well as lawyers. And look, the bankers include J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley. So he's got all those big bankers on his side. That's why the Democratic establishment loves him, because they love the finance industry. They love securities and investment. So the point is that you get, this guy, well, he's going to do what the bankers want him to. So, and that's evidenced of from what he's doing right now for Jared Kushner. So trying to be on his side when it comes to all this stuff. Even though you might agree that, like, he makes a sensible point, you got to see where he's coming from. And he's coming from the money. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.